Imagine, um, imagine walking into this massive, incredible, like an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Oh, yeah.
You know the kind, right? The smells are amazing. The tables are just overflowing with food.
Right.
And everyone around you has a totally blank plate.
Okay.
They're just scrolling through, grabbing whatever looks tasty, scoop of this, a slice of that.
Just loading it up.
Exactly. They are laughing, sitting down,
Yeah.
and they're eating in complete peace.
Yeah.
And then there's you.
Right.
You're walking through that exact same buffet line, but you aren't holding a blank plate.
Yeah.
You are holding this highly complex, like intensely restrictive dietary checklist.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That changes things.
Right. You are reading every single ingredient card, agonizing over whether, this dish clashes with that dish.
Yeah.
And it is just utterly exhausting to watch everyone else feast and enjoy themselves while you're standing there like completely paralyzed, terrified of putting the wrong thing on your plate.
Oh, the sheer cognitive load of carrying that checklist.
Yeah.
While everyone around you is just operating purely on appetite. I mean, it's staggering.
It really is.
It isolates you,
Yeah.
You feel like you're doing all this extra work just to get a meal that other people are getting
Effortlessly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's unpack this. Because that buffet
Yeah.
is life.
Wow.
And that restrictive checklist is the reality of faith-based decision-making.
Right.
So welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're taking all of our notes, our research, and doing a really specific thematic exploration of an audio piece we received. It's titled, When Following God Makes Decisions Hard.
Such a good piece.
It really is. And our mission today is to explore that profound emotional friction that happens when your personal desires, totally collide with the desire to seek divine guidance.
Yes.
We want to completely reframe this exhausting process, not as a sign of weakness
Right.
or a broken spiritual antenna, but as a total paradigm shift in how we handle our own ambitions.
And, it is a vital conversation because the tension we are looking at is universal for anyone trying to operate from a place of faith.
Absolutely.
We are constantly told that, faith brings peace.
Right.
But in the trenches of actual real-world decision-making, seeking guidance often feels less like peace and, well, more like a wrestling match.
Which brings us right back to that buffet line.
Yeah.
That raw, uncomfortable feeling of envy.
Envy, exactly.
Because before we can even look at how to make a faithful decision, we have to acknowledge what we are constantly comparing ourselves against.
Right, the people with the blank plates.
Exactly. We are watching the seemingly frictionless choices of the people around us. I mean, have you ever looked at a friend or a coworker or just someone on social media and thought, why is it so incredibly easy for them to just decide what they want and do it?
What's fascinating here is how quickly that observation turns into a critique of our own process.
Oh, for sure.
We see their ease, and instead of just observing it, we internalize it. We start to view our own careful, deliberate process as, like, a handicap.
Yes.
We wonder why we can't just be normal.
Right. And we pulled 3 very specific, highly practical examples from the source material of what this looks like in the wild.
Okay.
These are the people walking through the buffet with the blank plates.
Oh.
So the first example is the person who just chases their dreams without a single second of hesitation.
Oh, yeah.
They decide they want to be an entrepreneur, they quit their job, they start a company, boom, done.
Right. No second guessing.
Exactly. Then the second example is the person who takes immediate opportunities the very second they arise. Like a headhunter calls with a job offer in a new city on a Tuesday.
And by Friday, they've signed the lease.
Yes. No agonizing, just a fast yes.
Right.
And the third example from the text is the person who moves somewhere new based on absolutely nothing but what makes them happy in the moment.
Wow. Yeah.
They take a vacation to the mountains, they like the skiing, so they just pack up their entire life and move to the mountains. End of story.
And notice the common denominator in all 3 of those practical examples.
What is it?
The operating system is entirely self-contained.
Ah.
The primary metric for success is personal preference and, immediate gratification.
Right.
There is no external consultation required. If it feels good, if it aligns with the immediate goal, the decision is made.
I mean, it sounds so incredibly light.
It does.
They choose what makes them happy, and they seem so at peace with it. But I really want to dig into the psychology here, because honestly, it hurts to watch.
Yeah, it does.
Is this exact caution, this checklist we are carrying, the actual root cause of our jealousy?
It absolutely is. I mean, when your primary operating system isn't just what makes me happy right now, you inevitably start to second guess the operating system itself.
Mm-hmm.
You watch that guy move to the mountains just for the skiing, and your brain starts spinning. You ask yourself, am I overthinking my life? Am I missing out on amazing experiences because I'm waiting for a burning bush? Like, why am I voluntarily making my life so difficult?
You feel like you're artificially handicapping your own potential.
Exactly. And we have to draw a hard line here between worldly peace and spiritual wrestling.
Okay, unpack that.
Well, worldly peace, in this context, is simply the absence of conflict between your appetite and your action.
Oh,
You wanted the job, you took the job. Zero conflict.
right.
From the outside, that looks incredibly smooth. It looks like confidence.
Yeah, it looks like they have it all together.
But spiritual wrestling, on the other hand, introduces a massive third variable, which is divine will.
Right.
The moment you introduce a desire to align with something higher than your own appetite, you introduce friction.
Wow.
And in a modern culture that treats speed, decisiveness, and self-gratification as the ultimate virtues, hesitation feels like a fatal flaw.
That worldly peace is exactly why the faithful person's internal monologue feels so chaotic by comparison.
Yes.
While that guy is packing his skis for Colorado, you are sitting in your living room at 2 a.m., absolutely paralyzed by a job offer.
Oh, the 2 a.m. panic.
Right. Let's look at the specific, heavy questions from the source that cause this intense decision fatigue.
Okay.
You are asking things like, will this decision genuinely glorify God?
That is an incredibly weighty question.
Right.
It instantly elevates a simple career move into a matter of eternal significance. You are no longer just calculating salary and benefits, you are calculating spiritual resonance.
Yeah. And then you ask the second question, what about my ministry? And the text makes it clear this doesn't just mean being a pastor. This means your community, your neighbors, the people you mentor.
Exactly. It implies a deep consideration of the ecosystem around you.
Yeah.
Worldly decision-making is highly individualistic. Faith-based decision-making is inherently communal. You are asking how pulling your thread out of the tapestry is going to affect the entire picture.
And then there's the third question, the one that honestly hits the hardest.
What's that?
What if this choice takes me away from where God has placed me? The absolute terror of stepping out of bounds.
Yeah.
The fear that, God drew a circle around your life, and by taking this new job, you're accidentally walking right out of the circle of his protection or purpose for you.
That specific fear is the engine of decision paralysis.
Yes.
It is the belief that God's will is a tightrope, and if you lean just a little too far to the left or right, you plummet.
Oh, that's such a good analogy.
The cognitive load of trying to balance on that imaginary tightrope while blindfolded, that's what exhausts you.
And the natural conclusion we draw from that exhaustion is guilt.
Right.
We think, if I was a better believer, if my faith was stronger, this wouldn't be so hard. God would just light up the correct path in neon colors. The fact that I am so stressed out by this job offer means my spiritual antenna is broken. Like, I'm failing.
But what if we completely flip that assumption?
Okay.
This raises an important question about how we diagnose our own spiritual health. We tend to diagnose friction as a disease.
Yeah.
But what if the friction is actually the proof of a healthy immune system?
Okay, wait. The friction is a feature, not a bug.
The friction you are feeling, the absolute exhaustion of standing in that buffet line reading the ingredients, is not proof of failure.
Okay.
It is the definitive proof of a sensitive, highly functional moral compass.
Wow.
Think about it. If you did not genuinely care about honoring God, the decision would be entirely frictionless.
Right. You just take the money.
Exactly. You would just take the highest paying job and move on with your Tuesday. The fact that you are agonizing over whether it glorifies him proves your devotion to him.
That is a massive sigh of relief.
Yeah.
I mean, it completely removes the guilt from the exhaustion.
It requires us to entirely redefine our concept of a good decision. A good decision isn't necessarily the one that arrives the quickest or feels the easiest or maximizes your immediate comfort.
Right.
A good decision is the one made with the deepest intentionality to align with that higher wisdom. The wrestling match is the evidence of the alignment.
I love that reframe. That's huge. But we still have a practical problem here.
Okay, what is it?
Taking away the guilt of the wrestling match doesn't take away the necessity of actually making the choice.
True.
You still have to call the headhunter back. You still have to decide whether to sign the lease. How do we navigate the tightrope?
Well, we navigate it by realizing it isn't a tightrope at all.
Oh,
And to understand that, we have to look at the foundational blueprint the text provides for navigating this exact paralysis.
okay.
It is an ancient piece of wisdom from Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6.
Oh, right. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Yes,
It's probably one of the most quoted verses in existence.
it is, which means we often, gloss over the profound biomechanics of what it's actually instructing us to do.
Biomechanics.
Yeah, let's really look at that phrase, lean not unto thine own understanding. Think about the physical physics of leaning.
Huh.
When you lean your body against a wall or you lean your weight onto a walking stick, you are trusting that structure to hold your full mass. Right.
You are shifting your center of gravity away from yourself and onto the object.
Right. If you lean on a flimsy chair and it breaks, you crash to the floor.
Precisely. The text is telling us that our own understanding is structurally unsound.
Wow.
It is finite.
Yeah.
It is limited by our perspective, our current emotional state, and our total lack of foresight.
Yeah.
Our understanding looks at the buffet and says, that cake looks incredible. Eat the entire thing right now.
Right. Our understanding is the voice telling us to chase the dream without hesitation, take the immediate opportunity, and just move to the mountains.
Yes. Our understanding is the exact source of the jealousy we unpacked earlier.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's the voice screaming, why can't I just be like them? Why can't I just lean on what I want?
Yeah.
But faith requires an entirely different posture. It requires transferring your center of gravity onto a structure you cannot fully see, acknowledging a higher infinite wisdom even when it directly contradicts your immediate finite logic.
And notice the crucial distinction the proverb makes here. God does not promise that we will always understand the path. He only promises to direct it.
So what does this all mean? I really need to challenge this because I know anyone listening who is staring down a major life choice is feeling this exact panic right now.
Oh, yeah.
Does leaning on God and abandoning our own understanding mean we just give up our own hopes?
Right.
Like, are we supposed to be miserable in order to be faithful? Is the ultimate proof of faith doing the thing we absolutely hate the most, just to prove we aren't leaning on our own desires?
That is the most natural human pushback in the world to the concept of surrender.
It feels so real, though.
It does. We have this deeply ingrained assumption that divine will must inherently be the exact opposite of human joy.
Yes.
We think if I really surrender my career ambitions, God is going to force me to move to a desert and take a vow of silence.
Exactly.
But that is a catastrophic misreading of both the ancient wisdom and the nature of surrender itself.
Well, how are we actually supposed to apply this? I mean, I have a mortgage, I have real-world ambitions, I want to build things. I can't just float through life waiting for a lightning bolt to tell me what to do.
And you aren't supposed to.
Okay.
We can extract two incredibly practical real-world applications from the text for anyone facing this heavy choice right now.
Let's hear them.
The very first application is about establishing boundaries. You have to aggressively stop comparing your journey with someone else's.
Oh, man. Easier said than done when they are posting their mountain views on Instagram.
True, but it starts by isolating your jurisdiction.
Isolating your jurisdiction.
Yes, you have to realize that their frictionless path is completely irrelevant to your assignment. You cannot evaluate your obedience based on their timeline.
Right.
You don't know the end of their story, you don't know the internal realities of their choices, and you certainly don't know the spiritual compromises they may have made to get that worldly peace. You only have jurisdiction over your own footsteps. Your only responsibility is to walk faithfully in the space you currently occupy.
Isolate your jurisdiction. I really like that. It immediately cuts out the noise of the buffet line.
Yes.
Okay, what is the second practical application? Because this is where we have to answer the fear of being miserable.
Right. The second application is a radical shift in how you pray about your desires. You don't have to stop dreaming. Surrender does not mean lobotomizing your ambitions.
Okay.
Instead of abandoning the dream, the practical action is to invite God directly into the center of it.
Also,
It is praying something along the lines of, Lord, I don't know how this is going to work out. I have big dreams. I have things I deeply want to achieve, but I want you more than I want the outcome.
I want you more than the outcome.
Yes.
You are inviting him into the dream rather than like leaving the dream on the side of the road to follow him.
If we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
This is the absolute crux of this entire deep dive. The core philosophy here is that sometimes the hardest decision isn't choosing between your dream and your faith, is learning to surrender your dream just enough to let God actually lead it.
Learning to surrender your dream enough to let God lead it, that feels entirely different than killing the dream.
It is profoundly different. We have to realize that surrender isn't the death of a dream. Surrender is simply a change in management.
A change in management.
Yeah.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Break that corporate analogy down for me. What does a change in management look like on a random Tuesday when I'm stressed about a career move?
Think about it like a company you founded.
Okay.
When you hold on to a dream with a white-knuckle, terrified grip, relying solely on your own understanding to execute every detail, you are acting as the CEO.
Right.
You carry the absolute full burden of its success or failure. If the company fails, you fail. That is why you are exhausted. That is the heavy checklist.
Yeah.
When you invite God into it, when you say, I want this, but I want you more, you are formally handing over the role of CEO. You step down.
But I'm not leaving the company.
Exactly. You are still working for the company. You are still highly invested in the outcome.
Yeah.
You show up every day, you work hard, you apply for the jobs, you save the money. But the ultimate crushing weight of the company's direction is no longer resting entirely on your finite shoulders. You have transferred your center of gravity. You are leaning on the new CEO.
And when you hand over that management, the dream itself might start to change shape.
Yes.
Maybe you still move to a new city, but the timeline shifts by 6 months.
Right.
Maybe you still take a new job, but it's in a slightly different industry than your finite understanding would have picked out of the buffet line. You are no longer paralyzed by the choices because you have asked the executive chef to help you build the plate.
And that transition requires immense, sustained trust because the new CEO doesn't always share the quarterly projections with you.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
You may not have all the answers today. You just have to trust the one who holds the master plan.
It is a remarkable journey to walk through this process.
It really is.
I mean, we started by looking at that very raw, very human jealousy we feel in the buffet line when we watch others take those easy, frictionless opportunities.
Right.
We unpacked the heavy psychology of our own decision fatigue, the fear of stepping out of bounds and missing our purpose. But then we completely reframed the exhaustion.
We did.
We realized that the anxiety of asking, will this glorify God, isn't a symptom of weak faith. It is the vital heartbeat of a sensitive, working moral compass.
We moved from treating our spiritual wrestling as a handicap to recognizing it as the defining feature of a life trying to align with something greater.
And finally, we explored the actual mechanics of moving forward, not by burning our dreams to the ground and choosing misery, but by isolating our jurisdiction, stopping the comparison game, and handing over the role of CEO. We surrendered the steering wheel of our ambitions so that the path can actually be directed.
It is the ultimate relief. It is the shift from carrying the crushing burden of outcomes to simply walking in daily obedience.
It really is. It takes the terrifying pressure off of having to get the decision 100% right according to a spreadsheet and places all the emphasis on just getting your posture right.
Which brings up one final, incredibly provocative consideration that builds on this entire logic of surrender.
Okay, lay it on me.
We just talked about inviting God into our dreams and handing over the management.
Yeah.
But if we trace this philosophy to its absolute deepest root, we have to question the origin of the dreams themselves.
Okay, I'm listening. Where does this go?
Well, the reason we fight so hard to remain the CEO is because we are terrified God will take the company away.
Yes, exactly.
We view him as an adversary to our deepest desires. We think our dreams are our own fragile inventions, and if we surrender them, they will be dismantled.
Right.
But what if the intense, beautiful dreams you were so incredibly afraid of losing were actually placed in your heart by God in the very first place?
Oh, wow. I've never even thought of that.
If that is the reality, if he is the one who originally planted the intense desire for that specific creative pursuit or that leadership role or that deep community impact inside of you,
Yeah.
then surrendering the dream isn't risking its destruction at all.
No.
It is simply returning the messy, half-finished blueprints to the original architect so that they can finally be built the way they were always meant to be.